Hey guys, thank you so much for joining me in another video. So I love to see what is new, what is now, what has just come off the runway, what styles we can look forward to, and what can potentially inspire us. And right now in the fashion cycle, we are seeing down the runway the men's fall winter 2025 collections. So I've already done a few videos talking about specific collections, so I'll link those down below if you wanted to check them out. But while these are technically men's collections, a lot of what I like to focus on this channel is the handbags. We'll talk about the collections as well, but I think one of the cool things about handbags is really a lot of us can appreciate them. Even if I'm not in a position to buy a lot of these handbags, a lot of us can imagine or take inspiration from these handbags. One thing I have noticed just with my channel is how there has been an increase, I think, in maybe it's just the reach of my channel just expanding, but I have noticed that while there is still an overwhelming amount of women that watch my videos, like I have noticed that it does seem like more men are interested in handbags. At least my YouTube analytics are showing that segment still it's dominated by women, but that segment is going up in terms of the men that are watching my channel. So I think that's cool. But anyways, let's start off by talking about Dior. And I thought there were just some really beautiful moments with this collection. I thought the opening and the closing looks, they felt very Eastern Japanese inspired. I feel like that is very much a theme with some of these LVMH brands. When we think about Louis Vuitton, there was the theme of Pharrell's relationship with Nigo and Japan, that connection there. Of course, Louis Vuitton Murakami, even just that pale pink color was also here throughout this collection. It definitely felt there was a subtle inspiration. A lot of the looks had this beautiful gentleness, gracefulness. There were a lot of beautiful bows, drapey silhouettes, pants that looked like they were like skirts from afar. And I think also just challenging our perception of Western menswear, as well as I think what we would typically expect from Kim Jones, because this to me felt very different for Kim Jones. According to Vogue, this season he said the architecture of Dior's H-line haute couture collection of fall 1954-55 had caught his interest. When you look at it, apart from the embroidery, in fact, it's much more similar to men's tailoring than you think. Throughout this collection though, there was a lot of black, a lot of white, also the moments of like that really pale pink, but overwhelmingly I would say a lot of black. When I looked at this collection, like just the overall mood of this collection, I couldn't help but feel like this was a swan song. I feel like when we see a lot of designers do this, especially when it's a little bit different, like when Pier Paolo Pacioli had that very black collection, and you know, he's a designer known for using a lot of bright colors, like bright Barbie pink. To me, Kim Jones is also a designer that is quite colorful, that does lean into pattern and color. This was very muted actually. I don't know, maybe I'm just like looking into it. Also seeing these models wearing these blindfolds, it made me think of some kind of samurai, that with a lot of the silhouettes. The styling was very interesting. Now, of course, we've talked about on this channel, one of the big rumors is that Jonathan Anderson is going to be going to Dior. At least it has been rumored. Nothing has been confirmed at all, but it has been rumored that he is taking over Dior. And I think the rumor was that he would be taking over the women's side. Does this potentially mean Kim Jones is leaving? Maybe Jonathan Anderson does Dior men's and women's. That's a lot of work for him. Or LVMH in general is just looking to shake things up on both the men's and the women's sides. Another thing that I saw with a lot of the footage that was posted online was Kim Jones at the very end when he came out, he gave a hug to Delphine Arnault, who has been the CEO or overseeing the business side of Dior. It almost felt like this was kind of like his goodbye in a way. I don't know. Maybe I'm looking into it. It wouldn't surprise me during this round of really quick musical chairs that this happens. But when it came to the handbags, first we have this, I don't know what the name of this handbag is. To me, it's very reminiscent of the Celine Romy with that shoulder bag that has that dipped in feature. Also that leather piece that frames the bag. And of course, Kim Jones recently was the creative director at Fendi, which he has stepped down from, and we saw at Fendi they released a similar style of bags. Also Prada has a similar style like this, but if you have a preference, if Dior is one of your favorite brands, you can definitely go with this one. It does have the Dior branding on the side. What's also interesting is throughout this collection they had these bag charms. So this is the measuring tape here, and a lot of these bag charms were in this theme of tools for designers, be it the measuring tape or the thimble or the mannequin. Bag charms, they are this way in which we personalize handbags, and I think maybe it's a way at which he's celebrating his time designing for Dior. The style also comes in a gray color with the thimble bag charm, and then they also had the sepia brown color as well. Another style that we saw were these mini saddle clutches, also had these bag charms. So this one here, we've got the mannequin torso. They also had this patent or just really shiny leather with these little embellishments on it. Can't quite see because it's very small and the hand is covering it, as well as they had that sepia color in this croc croc, likely an exotic. Another style they had was this cinched in north-south duo pocket tote. I don't know what to call it, but utilitarian, very Kim Jones to me with like the pockets. I always think of Kim Jones as adding a lot of pockets during his time at Fendi, but also Dior. Next we have these tote bags with these pockets on them as well. Comes in this black as well as this gray, and it looks like they come in this really nice hardy grainy leather. And then we also have this other almost like miniature version of that style. And then we also have this other style, so it's this belted bag. We have this one version in this black with this exotic trim. It looks like it's a croc or alligator trim of some sort. Kind of like how when Hermes does like the exotic touches to handbags, this like belted touch of exotic here. But if you're someone who likes to go like full-on croc, there's also that style as well. And then another cool style that they had were these barrel bags, similar to I think what we've seen from Louis Vuitton with the Papillon, or even like the Row 90s, these barrel handbags. This is very Kim Jones in that we've got those utility pockets on the sides of the bag, and then it also comes in not just a small but also this larger version, as well as it comes in the suede and shearling combination as well. So yeah, overall I thought a very beautiful collection. Definitely to me felt like a swan song, especially when you compare this collection with a lot of the works that Kim Jones has done for Dior in the past. It's very different. If you are somebody that loves the Kim Jones era, may be the last of what we see from him at Dior. So moving on to Hermes. Now when it comes to Hermes, of course we think of them, especially on this channel, they're very much known for their leather goods, their equestrian leather goods especially, but it's always a joy to see what new handbags Hermes has come out with. And I thought there were a lot of great pieces. Again, with this collection, heavy on the neutrals. According to Vogue, the seemingly 50 shades of brown on her runway. So when they say her, they're referring to Veronique Nichanian. I don't know how to pronounce that name, so I do apologize, but she's the creative director at Hermes. On her runway were listed in the show program like a posh house paint color card: brown, coffee, bronze, chrome green, lead, taupe, slate, charcoal gray, navy, prune noir. These were contrasted with vanilla, pebble, celadon blue, desert rope. This collection was primarily neutrals. There were pops of blue as well as the chevron prints throughout the collection. And then there were these moments with these thermal hoods, which I thought were quite interesting. This is a fall winter collection. And there were other moments with pops of red. A lot of these leather jackets, leather coats, some had a sheen to them, really reflected the light. Veronique, when talking about the collection, she said, "I think it's time to bring back the pleasure of wearing a suit. Not because you have to, but for the fun of it." She suggested at the end of the show, "I think it's chic, more designed, having a beautiful double-breasted suit with a tie, and more sexy, I think." I feel like we've also been seeing more suits, more ties. Maybe you're wearing like a leather jacket with it, also can look quite cool. Also thought these aviator jackets were very nice. Lots of beautiful moments of layering, beautiful, very luxurious, very expensive, or sorry, not expensive, costly, very costly, but very beautifully made. When it comes to handbags, let's talk about the first bag that we are seeing here. So it's this connect the dots shadow hack. It has this conceptual side, but I also think my preschool age son would also appreciate this as well. If I were to finish my Hermes collection, I would just get a hack and say I'm done. I honestly would love to buy more Hermes bags, but they're just, the prices are so expensive. If I were to get one more Hermes bag, I think it would have to be a hack. We also have this multi-pocket version, very robust, very utilitarian, has that like cool utility feel. Then we also have this natural colored hack. What is very noteworthy about this style is how worn in it is. I will say, if you wanted to find basically this exact same bag, or maybe like a Birkin 40, you could probably find one that looks literally just like this for, I don't want to say like a deal, but you know what I mean? Like, I feel relative to the prices of Hermes bags, if you were to try to find a Birkin 40 in this kind of like sable color, or this natural color that is this worn in, it would actually be probably for a great price relative to Hermes. This like worn in look is something that I think a lot of people appreciate about Hermes bags, how beautifully these bags really do age. But I also think this is very much in style as well. We're already seeing this happen at Prada on the runway. A lot of the bags have this like very worn in aged look. Even like the cowboy boots, it kind of has this rustic look to it. Especially in this color, it definitely feels very equestrian, and I think leans into the style style of the times, like this worn in look in handbags. And I also just think this is Hermès saying like our bags look so stunning even if they're like worn in. It speaks to like the beauty, the timelessness, the quality of the leather. It is truly an heirloom bag. But if you're someone you just want a classic black with palladium, Hermès also has that on the runway as well. Now we've got this interesting zippered tote. It's a very extra large handbag. Of course, I think a lot of these bags that we are seeing on the runway, these men's bags, they really do lean into a larger proportion. Super practical bag. You could wear this as a work bag, a weekend bag, a duffel bag, gym bag, you know, whatever your lifestyle is. While I think a lot of people recognize what the Birkin is, most people won't recognize what this is. It does have that, for lack of a better term, like quiet luxury feel about it. Next we have this garden party, and it's got this like diagonal stripe pattern that we saw quite a bit, like these chevrons, these stripes, these diagonal stripes throughout the collection. It's a super practical bag. There was a point where I really actually wanted a garden party as like my mom bag, but then I got the her bag just as like a easy grab and go tote. This is quite a large size and version. Next we have this perforated tote, and it looks like it's in felt. It's going to be much lighter. Next we have this Kelly Depeche pouch. So this is a style I feel like I've seen on guys and gals. I think I saw Kendall Jenner wearing this recently. Next we have, I don't know what the name of this is. It's got this like H-lock cool mechanism. It's a smaller bag. Looks like it's in some kind of like box or shiny leather, another style to consider. So yeah, overall I would say a beautiful collection of handbags. Quiet luxury is what a lot of people would describe this as. Hermès really is the king, I think, of this style, this quiet luxury look. Again, some people might say it's a little bit boring, and it's not really groundbreaking, but it's not the goal of Hermès. What Hermès has really excelled at is being the pinnacle when it comes to craftsmanship, especially when it comes to their leather goods, their handbags. It is no secret that a lot of these luxury brands aren't really focusing on that as much. When I just look at these bags, there is an aesthetic to Hermès. Like there is a robustness about these bags. Like they look very sturdy, hardy, quite hefty. Even when worn in, they really have such a beautiful character about them. They're just really great workhorse bags. So yeah, anyways guys, that's my video for today. Thank you so much for joining me in another one, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye!